I've been talking about this
For how long?
forever.
Yeah.
There's not enough being made, and there's a high market for them now. There's not many 30 inches either. I've been finding that they only make 27-inch baritones, and I really need a 30.
Man, those guitars look good, don't they? Today, everybody, I want to tell you guys what I think is the biggest problem with baritone guitars, and specifically, what's the biggest issue with the baritone guitar market. Let's get into it. So in case you guys are unfamiliar with who I am and what I do, my name is Xander Raymond Charles, the mighty XRC. It's an inside joke when I say the mighty. You guys get it, those of you guys who are in on it. I love baritone guitars. I've more or less made my career and my branding around baritone guitars. I've been playing them for about 6 years, really heavily. I've got my own signature line through Cerberus Guitars. I've got ones from Balaguer. I've got the Squire Vintage Modified Baritone Jazzmaster. I've got 6s and 7s. I've tried everything under the sun with baritone guitars. So I'm really passionate about them. I love them. They're so fun. They're so cool. And yeah, dude, like, I'm stoked about them. So what's the relevancy of this video? What's the major issue that I'm alluding to? Well, like I said in the beginning of this video, it has to do with the baritone guitar market. And this is it right here. There aren't that many options with baritone guitars. There are more and more, because baritones are becoming more and more popular, sure. But even still to this day, the market really doesn't do anything crazy with baritone guitars. Hey, honey. I'm just filming. You want to say hi? Hey, sweetheart. Mwah.
Are the Bengals playing today?
No, dear. So this video is about the major issue with baritone guitars.
I've been talking about this
For how long?
forever.
Yeah. You want to say what the major issue is?
There's not enough being made, and there's a high market for them now.
And there's not many 30 inches out there.
There's not many 30 inches either.
They only really make 27-inch baritones.
I've been finding that they only make 27-inch baritones, and I really need a 30. All right, the door's open.
Yes, dear.
The air's on.
Yes, ma'am. Love you. Now, before I start talking, I will say this. I'm a solo artist. I love writing riffs. I love collabing with different artists. I have so many songs with baritone guitars as the main focal point, as the main instrument in the arrangement. So I highly recommend you guys go check out my music. It's all over this channel. It's all over all sort of streaming service platforms. It'd mean a lot to me, and it would definitely give you a reference point of like what I like to create and the types of sound that I like to create, okay? As the beautiful, lovely Jenna alludes to, yeah, baritone guitars still to this day kind of stop at 27 inches. And in my opinion, that's not really fixing any sort of problem or really adding anything to the baritone guitar market. Let me explain. Everything I'm about to say is solely opinion based. So if you disagree with me, that's fine. Love you. So with 27-inch baritone guitars, you can start to tune lower, right? In case you guys are unfamiliar, for anybody who is not up to speed, a baritone guitar more or less starts at 27 inches in terms of scale length. That is the measurable distance from the nut to the bridge, okay? The longer the scale length, the more tension, and the easier it is to start tuning lower into baritone territory, hence the name, right? Well, in my opinion, if you're gonna buy a baritone guitar, you're probably gonna wanna start to tune lower, right? That's the whole point of it, right? Well, with a 27-inch scale, you can start to tune low, but I really don't think you're gaining that much tension. You're gaining 1.5 inches. And a 27-inch baritone, in my opinion, really thrives around like the drop A range, the drop G range, or maybe the drop F sharp or F sharp standard range. I feel like F sharp is as low as you can push it, and even then I feel like the strings are really floppy. Through my own R&D and experience, the longer the scale, the easier it is to tune low. And the issue is, as I've alluded to in this video, 27 inches doesn't fix much. I've kind of coined this phrase when talking about baritone guitars, and here it is. If you're going to make a baritone, make a baritone. Meaning, if you're going to make a baritone guitar, go for it. Let's go all the way possible. Let's go to 30 inches. That's why I love a 30-inch scale, because I can cover any sort of tuning and any sort of tuning instability. I can fix all that with a 30-inch scale. I've toured with 30-inch baritones in drop C with 10 to 46s just to see if I could do it, and it worked flawlessly. I could tune all the way down to drop E and even further down below if I want to with a 30-inch scale. Most of the baritone guitars on the market are only 27 inches. The vast majority of them are 27 inches. And like I said, I feel like you really can only get to drop G or, G standard, the G note comfortably. And in my opinion, a baritone of 27 inches doesn't really fix the problem compared to say like a Fender scale length, which is 25 and a half. Meaning 25 and a half inch scale guitars can down tune just fine with heavier gauge of strings, but they live very comfortably around the drop B, drop A sharp, drop A range, and probably drop G sharp as well. We see it all the time. Bands like Slipknot playing drop B and drop A all the time using just a regular Fender scale length. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is like going out of my way to buy a baritone guitar that's a 27 inch scale, it really only allows me to cover maybe one or two steps down. Like again, drop G sharp, drop G, that's it. So buying a whole new guitar, brand new guitar to cover just a half step down or a whole step down and that's it, that's really not worth it to me to fork over, give or take $1,500 to $2,000. Or like a 30-inch scale, for example, you could get every single tuning down the road, no problem whatsoever. You could get your drop A's, your G sharps, your G's, F sharps, F's, E's, etc. And you can cover every sort of tuning possible with a 30-inch scale. So every time NAMM rolls around or anytime a new baritone lineup gets announced by a major company, I get excited, but I'm very jaded now because more often than not, the baritones, they're just 27 inches. And to me, that's not worth it. I can only get maybe a half step down or a whole step down without using big giant bridge cable guitar strings. And at that point, we have a whole nother can of worms to talk about where like we have giant strings and like now it's not even really fun or comfortable to play. And this problem is slowly but surely starting to be rectified and be noticed by big companies. I mean, the one that just dropped this past month was Kiesel Guitars announced that they're making 30-inch baritone guitars. Finally, that's awesome. Somebody like Kiesel Guitars being the forefront of like the modern guitar player, arguably, what all the kids are into. Seeing Kiesel Guitars do that, that's huge, man. That's a great win for baritone guitar players. But still to this day, a lot of the major companies still sit at 27, and it feels like they're rather gun shy and afraid to make a baritone guitar bigger than 27. Devil's advocate, I've heard several of my peers say this, just leaving their names out, it's nothing crazy, but 5-6 years ago, the whole consensus of baritone guitars was that they just don't sell. They're just not as popular. And that does make sense even still to this day. But in my opinion, if you're going to go out of your way to make a baritone guitar, don't just waste that opportunity and just make it 27 inches. Make it a baritone. Make it 28, 29, 30. I mean, Solar Guitars makes baritone guitars now, and they're sitting at like 29 inches. That's awesome. They're going for it. They're making baritone guitars. So, all in all, everybody, to kind of prevent this video from turning into a rambling mess, my point is this. The major issue with baritone guitars here in 2025, still to this day, is that companies are afraid to make baritones. They kind of just stop at 27 inches, and in my opinion, that doesn't really fix many of the issues or many of the desires to want to tune low. Again, just one more time, a baritone guitar at 27 inches really just kind of lives around like the A, G sharp, G range. Maybe F sharp, but I would never feel comfortable touring or recording with an F sharp 27 inch personally. And I certainly wouldn't get it down to like my favorite tuning, which is F, which is like what Meshuggah predominantly plays in. I love drop F. That's like my favorite tuning of all time. I've got copious amounts of songs out everywhere in that tuning. Love it so much. But I would never ever feel comfortable playing drop F, for example, on a 27 inch baritone guitar. Brands such as Kiesel, as I mentioned, are starting to come around. I've got my own signature 30-inch with Cerberus. There's a whole bunch of 30-inch baritone guitars out there now, which is awesome. But I really still feel that's a major issue with the modern times here in present day, where companies still aren't really catching up to speed and catching up to the idea of like people who want to tune low, they want a bigger scale length. I'm one of them, and I know dozens and dozens of people who feel the same way as well. That's the video for today, everybody. Yeah, that's the major issue, man. Baritone guitars, they're out there, but not many of them really fix the problem of, hey, we want to tune low, and we want a scale length to accommodate for that. So that's the video for today. What do you guys think of my thoughts and opinions? I'd love to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. Yeah, dude, I love baritone guitars. You guys know that. You guys have probably figured that out in this video. So yeah, dude, love to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, check out all my music, support me in any and every which way. I love you guys so much. With that being said, I'll see you guys in a video very, very soon. Later.